Well, first of all, thank you so much to the Sikh Federation, World Sikh Organisation, and the Ontario Gurdwaras Committee for hosting such an important town hall today. It's an honor to be here with my council colleagues, Deputy Mayor Harkirat Singh, Councillor Brar, and Councillor Keenan, Councillor Fertini. I believe a town hall is most effective when we look at the path forward. Rather than any of us pointing fingers, it's all about how can we own our areas of responsibility and deal with the very real fear that exists in our community. The city of Brampton is also the city that declared Jaswant Singh Kerala Day, a crusader for freedom and transparency in the midst of misinformation. And I think that declaration speaks to our DNA in Brampton, that we listen, that we advocate. And I can tell you it was a number of years ago that the Ontario Gurdwaras Committee came before our City Council and delegated about foreign interference in transnational crime. I think when we received that delegation, we were a little bit surprised. But the community knew and understood what was happening on the ground. We had got that delegation that it was foreign interference that was responsible for an extrajudicial killing in Surrey. This had not been said in the news yet. This is before Prime Minister Trudeau's announcement that it was from India, but it was the Ontario Gurdwaras Committee that said, please write a letter to express our concerns that this is being directed and targeted towards our committee, that what happened in Surrey was not an accident. And for me, the fact that you raised that concern before it was even released speaks to the connectivity you have with the community and the currency that you have. We understand that your advocacy is not without basis. It's based on the real fears and feedback you have from community. I also come here as someone who has received 2 death threats myself, and so when I get phone calls from residents who are horrified and they fear for their family, I've lived that experience where there's been, when I've had my own family very nervous about what is to come. I want you to know with Chief Nish and the Peel Regional Police that we have some of the best when it comes to combating transnational crime. And if you look at some of the advocacy that have come out of Peel Regional Police, we are on the forefront of raising issues that I believe are very relevant to the discussions today. It was, and joined by Chief Nish is Deputy Chief Milovic, who is one of the smartest law enforcement minds in the country when it comes to transnational crime. And I can tell you it was Peel Regional Police that was the first police force in the country that raised concerns about the Bishnoi gang. It's why publicly I went to Ottawa to meet with the public safety minister. I want to thank Ruby Sahota for setting up a meeting last June with the Public Safety Canada, the Justice Minister, of course the Combating Crime Minister, to speak about what we were seeing in Peel Region, about our concerns about the brazen nature of Bishnoi's activities in the GTA. The fact that even driving on the Gardiner, I would see a decal of a car that it said Bishnoi gang. It was that brazen and that terrifying in our community. The fact that the Government of Canada has responded with that designation, I think speaks to the fact that whether it's at a local level, a provincial level, because there was provincial advocacy around this as well, or at a national level, we're all trying to work together to combat transnational crime. I did want to share with you a few updates. I know the Chief will get into greater detail about this, but sometimes in the midst of an extortion, that gets spread across every WhatsApp group, but you don't hear as often about extortion-related charges. This year there's been 267 extortion-related charges. 267 charges. We have 30 of Peel Regional Police's finest working on a task force directly to combat extortion. But that doesn't take away the scary realities we are facing. In 2023, there was 319 reports of extortion. In 2024, 490 reports. This year to date, in November, we have 436 reports. And I would note for those that And we saw in the television coverage specifically concerned about Bishnoi, there has been 41 incidents where the person calling referenced the Bishnoi gang. So this is a scourge and a cancer in our society. And there must be zero tolerance in Canada, in Brampton and Peel region, for any form of foreign interference, for any form of transnational crime. And I think today is an opportunity to have a conversation of what we can all do together to wipe this out in our region so families don't live in fear. And I know the fact that we have the Chief of Police here and his senior leadership team speaks to the fact that they're here to take notes to make sure that Brampton and Peel region can be part of the solution to making sure that we don't need to see more senseless acts of criminality in our community. And to the organizers, thank you for putting this together today, and looking forward to the recommendations that will flow from this discussion. And I believe the Chief has a presentation specifically on what the Peel Regional Police is doing to combat extortion. Before he does, I would just say that when the first reports of Bishnoi-related extortions were coming out in Canada, we had a meeting with Public Safety Canada with the mayors in Edmonton and Surrey, and Dominic LeBlanc at the time was the public safety minister, and they were very responsive to say, what can we do together to combat this? And I'm hoping that what flows from this town hall is that same sense of unity. It doesn't matter where you are in the country, it doesn't matter what level of government, but none of us want to tolerate this act of criminality on our soil. What's happened can't continue to happen. Thank you.
Come on over.